The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management.
It's time now for Where You Live with Gene Sullivan, the show that deals with the news and events that affect you the most. Whether you rent or own, live in an HOA, single-family home, or an apartment building, Gene will tackle the issues right where you live. So from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios, here is the original man of steel, Resolve himself, who stands for truth, justice, and the association way. Here's Gene Sullivan.
Why, thank you very much. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan. It's great that you could take some time out of your day this weekend to be with me here on the radio. I would like to also give a shout out right away from the very beginning to the sponsors of our show. We've got Extreme Exteriors, American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. And, of course, we're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. And I'd like you to remember, folks, that Natural Green is a locally owned and operated lawn and landscape care company. Their mission is to use the most environmentally sensitive products available to keep your lawn and landscape looking lush and beautiful while still healthy for both people and pets. Give them a call. See what they can do for you today. Their number, 763-213-2410. And, of course, I also need to say a good morning to my man, the man who handles the board, the man behind the glass, Christopher Wyatt Puberty, with the fastest fingers west of the Mississippi. How are you, Chris?
I'm great, Gene. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Now, I'm just thinking, you've got that moniker, the fastest fingers west of the Mississippi. I got to believe you're probably the fastest on the east side as well.
Well, I am from Indiana, so I'm kind of crossing the river there.
So undoubtedly,
exactly.
the fastest man with the fingers on the board. Yep, that's my man, Chris. Well, say, Chris, I got to ask you a question here before we start the show today.
Yes, sir.
Justin Bieber, you know who he is.
I do.
Okay. Now, would you think that Justin Bieber would live in a homeowners association?
Never thought of it. I always think of him as kind of in his own world a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities are.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? He is an owner in a homeowner association.
Okay, that is pretty surprising.
Yeah, and you know what? That's going to be our first story today. We're going to be talking about the Biebs. And why do you think, Chris, that he made it in the news? Do you think it is because of his strong sense of civic duty?
That's what I thought.
And wanting to serve and be nominated for the board of directors of his HOA?
That sounds like him.
Yeah. Really, not so much.
No.
Really, not so much. Apparently, the Biebs is in trouble with his HOA. And I guess, a lot of celebrities, especially singers, like to create this little image of the bad boy. And I guess nothing says or screams bad boy more than breaking the rules in your HOA. And so that will be our first story today. So without further ado, let's begin with property management in the news. Property Management in the News is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Now, whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. If you wish to avail yourself of special pricing and discounts you're not going to find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners can call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson. Her number, 952-224-2663. That number again, 952-224-2663, and ask for your Where You Live special pricing. Well, let's begin with what I guess would be entitled the Biebs Alert. That's right. In the news, Justin Bieber in trouble with his HOA, and not so much his HOA as with everybody else that lives in the HOA with him. Apparently, here is what is happening. The antics of our Mr. Biebs has gotten to a point where a good number of the homeowners living in the association where he lives, and I think it's Calabasas, California, are now refusing to pay their monthly assessment to the homeowner association because they're angry because they think the HOA isn't doing enough to curb the antics of Mr. Bieber. It says here, and this was from TMZ, and so we know them to be a very reliable news source. They said several of the residents of Bieber's Calabasas neighborhood are tired of waiting for their homeowners association to take action against him. So they are now withholding their money until something is done. Now, there's about 500 homeowners in this homeowners association. It is a single-family detached home. And apparently, the monthly assessment for each home is about $1,000 a month. And so if you get a chunk of people who aren't paying their dues on a monthly basis, that's a pretty sizable number for this HOA. Now, what are the rules that Mr. Bieber is said to have broken? Well, apparently they're upset because he holds a lot of late night parties. He lets his friends park illegally and wherever they want. And then, of course, he has been known on more than one occasion to be quite irresponsible, just motoring through the gated community. Apparently, it's more than just irresponsible motoring. At one point, it says that one homeowner who went up to him and asked him to stop, it says that Bieber allegedly threatened to kill this neighbor, spit on him after he was confronted for racing his car. And so it's gotten to a point, it says the local district attorney is reviewing the case. Sheriffs who have been investigating the situation, they're urging the prosecutor to charge Mr. Bieber with battery and believes he should undergo counseling for his alleged behavior. Now, if it gets to a point where the sheriff or the sheriffs who are investigating are saying to the prosecutor, you need to do something about it, I got to believe this is more than just an alleged situation anymore or just hearsay. I think they have been able to see some behavior that needs to be curtailed. But the question to ask here, folks, is that the right response for the homeowners to have in their HOA? If you live in an HOA, I mean, I've heard about this time and time again. Homeowner doesn't like what's being done or not being done in their HOA. And so they feel that the board may not be acting quickly enough, and so they take it upon themselves to do what they think is their right to do, and that is withhold money from the homeowners association. So I'm going to ask you, our listeners here this morning, do you think that's a right way to react? Is that an appropriate measure for homeowners who are upset with their board when they're not acting in an appropriate manner or not acting quickly enough or not acting in a way that they would like? What do you think? As I take a look at this, I don't think that it is a great idea to withhold money for a couple of reasons. First of all, that comes to the top of my mind is you can't, because you're breaking your contract and your agreement with the HOA. When you purchased your home in that HOA, you entered into a contractual agreement with you and everybody else to, on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, however the assessments are charged to you. You need to give that on a regular basis so that the HOA has the money it needs to provide the necessary services. What are necessary services? Well, probably water. There is probably electricity for street lights, maintenance of the streets. There are a number of things that are the same as any other city. And so to withhold those assessments, all you're doing is preventing the HOA from being able to continue to provide you with what you expect. Well, if that's the case, that's not a good idea, what is a good way then to get your HOA's attention? How should you go about convincing them that there is a better way to handle things in the HOA? Well, we'll answer that question, but we're going to take a break right now, so don't go away. You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan on AM 1280, The Patriot.
Yeah.